Orlando Bloom?
Yeah, I kicked him out of the shop.
No way, did you? Tell me. You have the magic shop. Who has, over the years, you've been in business, what, over 20 years?
24.
24 years. Who has come into the magic shop? And it's pretty much, I mean, everybody has come in, but like either a celebrity or someone cool that came into the shop, or you go, oh, neat, hey, and you do magic for it. Because again, a lot of magicians that are out there performing, you know, we'll have maybe a celebrity here and there that are at our show, but when they come into your shop, it's just you and them, right? So who can you remember that it was kind of fun? And what was the
what's his name? Pirates of Caribbean.
Johnny Depp?
No.
Orlando Bloom?
Yeah, I kicked him out of the shop.
No way, did you? Tell me.
He came in with a dog. You know, there's no dogs in the shop. I wasn't looking at the guy. I see this guy walk in with a dog, and I go, dude, sorry, there's no pets. And he goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And he walks out, and everybody goes. And everybody in the shop was looking at him and like, Joe, that's Orlando Bloom. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know. And I did that to a couple people too. I did it to Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
He didn't have a dog, but he came in and he's looking around and he was like, oh, okay. And then everybody, he walks out and people are going, dude, that's Woody Harrelson. I'm not looking at their faces. I'm just kind of looking because when I'm in a demo mode,
right.
I'm demoing and I'm not really paying it. I'm just kind of looking as they come in and I'm just kind of scanning. So they don't, you know, see anything. And I'm just looking and I'm just demoing. And then they go, oh, dude, that's, you know, Robin Williams has come in a lot.
Yeah.
You know, he came in a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So that, you know, that guy. And then MPH has been in. In fact, I kept staring at this. That's the one guy I knew. I was like, and he wasn't famous. He was still in that struggling mode from Doogie Howser to, right? He was like nobody still kind of back.
Right before How I Met Your Mother.
Yes. So he was like right in that point. And I knew he was kind of a magician. And he came in and he started talking. Oh, I know that guy. And,
right.
And we're talking. And then I was like, oh, you do? And I looked at him. I went, you look like
Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser. And he was looking at me. He was like, yeah. And then you know, let me get this. And he bought some stuff. Right. And I go, you do magic? And he goes, yeah. And I still didn't think it was him. Finally, gives me his credit card, and I look and it's Neil Patrick Harris. I was like, oh, it's Neil Patrick Harris. And I went, you are Doogie Howser. He goes, yes, please. No, please.
So wait, you said you look like Doogie Howser, and he's like, I get that all the time.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and you know, because I watched the show back then, but he was nobody.
But you didn't really know. You weren't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, and I went, you look like him. And then, you know, I don't want to say anything, and he wasn't famous yet. Again, He was like the child star.
He was a child star, and then he had a period of time where he didn't do that much.
Yeah, nobody knew him, and then all of a sudden now he's big again.
Yeah, with How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother was, you know, and then while he was on that show is when he became the president of the Magic Castle and the Academy of Magical Arts, and
you know, and they come in once in a while. Only MPH is probably the one that I would say is the most famous, and Robin Williams. He wasn't into it more, but his son liked it a little bit.
And Jason Alexander for a while.
Of course, Jason Alexander.
He did shows at the Magic Castle too. But you know what? I don't know. I mean, that could have maybe his interest could have kind of faded. I'm sure he's still into, because like, you know, once you're kind of into magic and you have an interest, you never lose it. Now, your career or your life may go in a different direction, so that way you're not as obsessed or practice or do shows, but you will always love it. And I think Jason Alexander, that's with him. But he did shows for.
He won Best Magician of the Year.
Say what?
The Castle. He won Best Magician of the Year at the Castle.
Oh, did he win Magician of the Year one time? Yeah, he may have. I mean, I hear he's really good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what he's up to now, but
he said Well, he doesn't have to. He's living in the bank.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He's living
George
in the bank. He doesn't have
Costanza.
to do anything. Yeah. He's
So
probably the
I
well-known guy.
remember, so you have your magic shop, and I remember when I was 13 years old going in there for the first time. Well, actually, we'll go back even before that, because my dad's coworker showed me my first card tricks, and then he showed me. He took a napkin, right? He crumpled in a ball, put it in my hand, told me to wiggle my fingers over it. It floated out of my hand. It danced around. And it came back. He said, "Open it up," and he gave it to me. And I was like, I thought I was dreaming. I had no idea. I was just like, this is insane. And I was 13, and he showed me some card tricks before. And I remember the next time I went to my dad's work, I said, "Did you?" Because I wasn't sure. Like, I was like, that's impossible. So
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if I made that up. Like, did you put a napkin in my hand and it floated out of my hand? And he goes, yeah, I did do that. And I'm like, that was real? Like, that happened? And he goes, yeah. And so then my dad gave, Paul, his name's Paul gave my dad your business card. So my dad came by the shop and bought me a magic book for Christmas that year. And
Mark
then
Wilson?
it's Mark Wilson's complete course. It's right over there. And then I went back to your shop maybe a few months later for the very first time, and I had the book, and I was like, well, my dad bought me this, and I was really interested in it. And I would go in, and I remember after I went in once or twice, kind of like looking and seeing what is the next step, maybe a few times, maybe 4 or 5, half a dozen times that I would go into the shop and buy new magic tricks, mostly all card tricks at the time. I remember finally asking you, I said, so this guy showed me this trick. He took a napkin and he put it in my hand and it floated out of my hand. And you go, yeah, do you have $1? And I was like,
Yes.
well, yeah. And I go, okay. He goes, yeah, here, give me your $1. And so I gave you my dollar bill, and you're standing right there behind the counter, and you go, all right, you look at the serial code. This is your $1. And you crumple in a ball, and it's floating up in the air, and you boom, boom. And you hand it to me, and you say, that's called the floating bill. And then you show me this thing, and it's 20. He goes, it's $20. And I said, what? And I didn't get it. Like, in your brain, I go, wait. And I remember holding this envelope, and I was like, so
this is what it is.
I go, I give you $20, and I take this, and I can float any bill. He said, yeah. And I'm like, what, is there like a spell? Like, do I have to read an incantation? Like, I really didn't know. Like, and the reason why I bring this up is because years later, I can remember being in your magic shop, and people come in and they go, oh, I want to see a trick. And then you go, all right. And you do any number of tricks, whatever it is. And to watch people see magic for the first time, I mean, it's entertaining, because they don't know. They're just like, that's impossible. I don't even know how that can happen. And now you're telling me that I can do this if I, buy this and then practice and everything else. But it's like, wait, what? And people just are confused. And you go, yeah, that's called this. And you're like, but I don't get it. Like, how is this going to teach me, or how is this going to show me? It's really interesting.
Yeah. And people can do it.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing. And look, you're proof of a career.
Yeah.
You've done it. In fact, you've taken it just from the tip to now it's your life.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's like when people say I said it was my hobby and this is what I would do. And I don't know if I've ever really shared this with you. I think maybe I did, but when I first got into magic and I'd go to your shop, because what would happen is my dad would drop me off on his route, and I would just go in, sometimes only for like maybe 30 minutes, because he would drop me off, and then he delivered in San Francisco, and he'd make a few deliveries in the area, and then he'd come by, bop, bop, Joe, I got to go. And I'd run out. And we'd do this every weekend before I would sometimes I'd get in there in the morning and just stay in there all day. But I can remember, as I was learning in those early days as a teenager, I didn't want to perform. I didn't
That's
want
right.
to do shows. I just wanted it for me. I didn't.
I pushed you. I remember that.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Ready.
But I didn't want to perform because I didn't want other people to get into magic because then they would learn it. I was like, this is a secret. No one should know this stuff. So I know how to do the card tricks. I know how to do the magic tricks. But if my friends found out that I did it, maybe they would get interested and then they would want to do it. And I was like, I don't want that. I wanted it for myself. But then
your mom was
perform.
the big influence. Your mom was the one who
Yeah.
did it. Your mom, you came to all the lectures, and then after that, after the competition, you started. That's where you really got good. But then after that, you actually start doing show, and then you got the library showcase. Remember that?
Yeah, the library.
And the poster boy.
Yeah.
All the libraries in all of the Bay Area, I think. You were the poster boy. Your picture was on all the buses all over
that's
the
funny.
county. Right? You did everything from and then after that you got Disney.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming in and you said, I got this audition. And you came in, you go, Joe, I got this audition. Should I do it? And I go, yeah, why not? Go do it. You came back. I said, how was it? It was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right, with Tiny. And then all of a sudden you said, yeah, it was okay. I think I did good. And we didn't hear back from it.
Yeah.
And I thought, and you came in again, and I go, well, nothing. And I go, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And then about 3 months later or 2 months later?
No, it was like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. And then they came back and went, hey, you got it.
Yeah.
What do I do? And now I remember this. I go, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to work on my act and I'm going to go back to school. Remember you said that?
Right. Yes.
I said, you should go back to school. And then all of a sudden this thing comes up and they said, we're offering you this tour with Disney.
Right.
And you went, what? I got gigs. And I go, well, call everybody up.
Yeah, I got gigs.
Tell them that you're going to have to postpone it.
Yeah. I remember because I was 20 and I took right out of high school. I went to junior college for about maybe a year, and then I withdrew because I was just doing shows and I was paying for my own college myself, and I'm doing shows, making money, and then paying for the college that I was missing because I was doing shows, making money to pay for the college that I didn't go to because I was doing shows to pay for it. It was like this side. So I was like, so I withdrew for about a year and a half. And then I said, yeah, I'm going to re-enlist. And I wasn't full time. I just had like maybe 2 or 3 classes. And once they called me, and so this was for the spring semester, right? Starting in like January, February. Once they called me, it was past the deadline for refund for the college. So once I got Disney, I had to go to the administrative office and say, hey, I'm going to look for a refund for this. And like the lady, I remember she was really rude. And she was like, well, no, you have to, only the, whoever can approve this refund. So I emailed them and I said, hi, I'm a magician, this da, 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 da. And they said, yeah, come in and, here's a meeting at this time. So okay. And I went, I saw that lady again and she's like, you need a meeting. I go, I have a meeting. And so I went in there and I was talking to the administrator and I said, hi, and I'm a kid, I'm 20 years old. And when I was 20, I looked like I was 17 or 16, And so I went in there and I was like, they go, so wait, what's going on? I go, well, I'm a magician and I've won some awards over here. I've done this. And I just auditioned for this show with Disney and this tour with Disney. And I'm going to go tour with Disney for a year. And then I have a 1-year option to tour Asia afterwards. And the administrator was like, oh my gosh, yes, you have to do that. And wrote like saying, yeah, refund him everything. And wow. This administrator said, you know what? This school will always be here. You can come back whenever you need. You need to go do this. Boom. And I mean, what a wonderful encouragement that a administrator at a college would give to a young adult, because I think that is actually more important than had I gone. Best decision of my life was to not to withdraw from that college and go on this tour because I had the opportunity.
You never had a real job.
I've never had a real job. I know. I did Chevy, libraries, Disney, Ringling, casino,
Magic.
Cruises. That's basically
it.